Hello, this is the Orion broadcast here, and this is going to be an Orion commentary on a commentary done on me, a commentary done on my Evil Brosif's fake apology onto me. Even though I'm done with Evil Brosif, I am making this commentary, but it's not on Evil Brosif. It's on a user TOG Professor or TOG Professor who is defending this teenage imbecile, and they think I can't handle criticism. Well, I have to tell you this. Had Evil Brosif approached the situation in a mature manner, telling me that I could shorten my videos instead of making them too long, that I could put more enthusiasm and make them more interesting and explain that, then I would have listened to him.
Orion broadcast, if you were truly done with Evil Brosif, why would you go and rehash this thing again? Seriously, the repetition kills you.
Hello, this is the Orion broadcast.
And I'm going to spend another 45 seconds explaining that I'm commentating on Evil Brosif because he's a big mean bully jerk who made fun of me.
Okay. I know you got this request from CSBob447, who was one of my chief critics and had given me a hard time, just to let you know, and was contributing to my upset with another issue which I'm not going to discuss in this commentary, no. But of course, Evil Brosif was mean, and the way he went about finding it boring was incorrect. He didn't explain how I could do it better. He just insulted me by calling me Mr. Boring Person.
Hello, guys.
Wait. Boring person what? You cut off there. What were you gonna say? Boring person Event Horizon? Boring person Everest? Boring person Everything? Which is actually a really good band. What I'm getting across here is the Orion broadcast is pretty much like TOG joked about, is the fact that you should really watch when you cut off sentences, because it's very annoying and it's kind of jarring. And it's funny that you acknowledge that you did this, yet you still did it in this commentary.
You're not really sorry for that parody video, because if you are, you won't be doing what you're going to do next in this little video of yours, which proves that you're not really sorry. Sorry means you won't do those kind of things anymore, parody or not.
What if he is sorry for not making another parody of you, or that he didn't do a better job ridiculing you? Fuck! You never know, right? He could be sorry for many different reasons.
He brought up an interesting point that he may have been sorry for not ridiculing me even more, doing another parody of me or something like that. Well, you're encouraging him ridiculing me, which in a sense is enabling cyberbullying.
Okay, two things. Number one, it's pretty obvious that Evil Brosif was being sarcastic when he was apologizing to you. And TOG was also kind of being a bit sarcastic too in the response to you completely fucking ignoring that. And number two, you're really going to use cyberbullying? Really? I'm sorry, but lately the only people that I've seen ever use cyberbullying as a defense of on the internet is when they're being called some mean names. Boo-hoo. So many people have been called mean names on the internet and they don't resort to using, oh, I got cyberbullied, because they have a tough skin. Maybe you should grow one.
Just to ridicule me without explaining in a mature fashion how I can improve my videos.
But here's the question you really need to ask the Orion broadcast. Does he really care? Because it seems like that Evil Brosif really made that video just to kind of make you mad, and spoilers, he did. So I don't really think that this whole criticism thing needs to really matter when he didn't really care about giving criticism in the first place. Also, I'm just going to kind of skip the next section because it's talking about the fact on how he's refuting the fact that he's not a dogmatic atheist, that he does respect people who are religious. He just doesn't respect very right-wing religious beliefs that, you know, are infringing other people's rights. Now, I do agree that's all in good, that, yeah, I can see why you would have a problem with that. But I do want to bring up this one little thing that he said.
They are very hostile towards any criticism.
Sound familiar?
That's right. You complain. And you know what my answer is to that 12-minute one-shot you did on me? I mean, really? A 12-minute one-shot over a 45-second video? Are you serious? You think I'm taking you seriously? I'm not.
I apologize for the length of that one shot. I'm doing better in shortening my commentaries in relation to the video in question. It's duration, by the way, and I was explaining where I'm coming from, and you're not taking me seriously because you want to attack the messenger instead of discussing the message that I will not respect religion, for example.
But does it really take 12 minutes to explain a thought? No! No, it doesn't! As for shortening your commentaries, as you say, you turned a video that was a little over 2 minutes into a 7-minute video. You more than doubled the runtime.
Yes, I more than doubled the runtime of the video in question, but a commentary is longer than the video in question, counting the video in question, if it goes point by point, that is, which I like to do.
Which is a problem because you drag out your points to the point where the video just becomes unnecessarily long. We do not need a leviathan of a video just flailing around here.
And I am in college, just to let you know.
Who cares if you're in college? What does that have to do with your point?
I mean, come on, man. Even I don't go into details in my commentaries. That's just stupid. And that's what you are. That's what you are. You're not very bright, are you?
How dare you call me stupid and say I'm not bright, evil Broseph! You are a liar! And that is slander! I am very intelligent, highly educated, and how dare you take me for being stupid all because I go into detail! And yet you don't! I'm sorry, people, if I yelled, but this guy really hurt my feelings with this disgusting lie.
Get left in the coffee! Oh, God! Oh no, he hurt my feelings! I'm a grade school student who can't take an insult! Big of an idiot I really am! I cut myself off again and called him a liar because apparently he's lying about me being an idiot even though I just proved that I'm a fucking idiot by proving him correct! I'm sorry. I know I've put fake laughing into my commentaries before, but every time I watch the scene, I can't help but actually laugh uncontrollably, and it's that fucking stupid. Oh, shit. Moving on.
Well, newsflash! Me yelling at Evil Broseph that one time for saying I'm stupid and not bright does not prove that I'm an idiot or that I'm not bright.
Oh, really? Well, let me just break something to you pretty harshly around broadcast. But people who are intelligent, as you so claim to be, do not get so vehemently angry when someone just calls them stupid. Because, holy shit, did you erupt. You erupt worse than Aya Fiatla Yokul.
By the way, I am in college with about 90 or so units under my belt. But I don't use that as a shield from criticism, as you're gonna make it out to be.
Then why even bother bringing that up? It seems to me that you're really insecure about your intelligence, so you have to keep reminding us that you're in college and that you have all these credits. Who gives a fuck if you're in college or not? Just because you're in college, that does not deem your level of intelligence. Sit down, son.
And your humor, in my opinion, is pretty cruel, just to let you know. And yes, he was lying about my intelligence.
Oh, good lord. Stop talking about your intelligence. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the sign of someone who is insecure right here.
You do realize that lying is one of the very worst things you can do besides violence. And lying is a very serious issue.
Oh my god. And that's the problem I have with your commentary. They're so freaking long that sometimes I hear nothing but rambles and shit. Yeah.
Although I'm improving the length of my videos in relation to the videos or essays in question, that essay called The Philosophy of Star Trek and Mike Wong's Star Wars vs. Star Trek essay series was very long by itself. So of course the commentary is going to be long, and I wasn't necessarily rambling off.
Though I sure as hell am rambling right now, and will try to say that, oh, the videos I commentate are long, so that will make my videos longer, because I don't know how to audio duct or actually make the commentary shorter than the original video, despite evidence that many other commentators have been able to do this before.
Wow, TOG Professor, you just erected a straw man fallacy against me, distorting my argument. Not all the videos I commentate on are long. I never said that. That has no basis in reality. You're just putting words in my mouth.
Okay, I will give you in that the fact that you didn't say that all the videos you commentate are on long. But the thing of it is that you still try to defend yourself by saying, well, this video that I did was long, so of course the commentary I'm gonna make is gonna be long. Which is not really a viable excuse. Because after all, I'm making this commentary right now, and it's gonna be shorter than the video that I'm commentating on. Because it's pretty easy to actually cut out things that are repeated into audio duct, so I don't have to make this super long video.
That's why I have to like click out the video. Because you're boring me. And also, before I go, I hope you make a commentary on this video. Because everybody knows, and everyone knows that your videos and commentaries are completely Thank you everyone for watching this, and stay safe and stay awesome. Bye!
Evil Broseph, you sound narcissistic and think you're so awesome when you're really a cyberbully. And plus, too bad if you find my videos boring. Just don't watch them.
Calls Broseph narcissistic and acts narcissistic in every video he makes. Idiotic hypocrite, cough! Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to cough while making the insults, aren't I? This is the Professor, and once again I bid you all a fine adieu in the form of audio ducting.
Till next time, live long and prosper, and I'll see you around. By the way, TOG Professor, I am not narcissistic, and I'm not a hypocrite.
Oh, really then? Then why did you use as a valid argument to you that you're in college and that you have 90 credits? You seem to have a very high opinion of yourself. So yes, you do come across as narcissistic, and so yes, that does come across as being hypocritical.
I'm not so in love with myself, and I realize I can make mistakes, by the way. And I made a mistake of making my videos too long and rambling off a lot. But Evil Broseph chose not to explain it to me. He chose to insult me by saying that people should call me Mr. Boring Person Ever. And
if you were to watch Evil Broseph's original video, at no point in the entire video did he ever say that people should go and call the Orion Broadcast the most boring person ever. So how's that for putting words into people's mouths?
Instead of explaining how I could improve my videos. Had he explained how I could improve my videos instead of calling me Mr. Boring Person Ever, then probably I would have listened to him. But that wasn't the case.
Because it's fairly obvious that you're not going to listen to the criticism anyways, because you've had such a negative, vehement reaction to it. And as well, Evil Broseph doesn't really care about giving you criticism or not. All he was doing was kind of getting a rile out of you, which worked. I'm going to skip the end of his video because really all it is him just complaining about the fact that TOG made fun of where he raged again. So at 16 minutes and 54 seconds, we finish the video. Well, the Orion Broadcast, I will definitely say this. You seem to be very insecure about when people call you out on your intelligence, because otherwise you wouldn't continuously bring up the fact that you're in college, and you wouldn't have raged so hard when Evil Broseph, all he did was just call you stupid. Oh guys, I just called him stupid. But that's true. He is acting pretty stupid on the way that he's dealing with this criticism. And yes, it is still criticism. It's just the fact that it's very harsh, and you want everything to be sugar-coated. And believe me, sugar-coated criticism on the internet has gone the way of the dinosaur. So overall, the Orion Broadcast is acting very narcissistic and immature about all the criticism that he's getting. Albeit, yeah, it is a bit harsh, but do you know what? You kind of need to learn to deal with that. That's the way of the internet, and if you can't handle that, then guess what? There's the log out button, get off it, and go do something else.
Dan Man 297 in a commentary. This is season 1, episode 1.
Now, I know he's recording off his screen, which I initially don't have a problem with, but with the mouse and the low quality, I can't really defend this. Also, was it with people still using the whole seasons and episodes thing? I thought most of the commentary community realized that we really shouldn't do this anymore because it serves really no purpose.
And yeah, it did not count for them and them for Alpha Wolf, and someone else, Ben Louie. I'm going to cancel Ben Louie later on, but right now, I got
Yeah, hey Dan, let me let you in on a little secret. Speak up. The combination of you mumbling and whatever electronic weed you have going on there is making this commentary already hard to follow as is.
Death Critic commentary here. I like Death Critic because I'm going to be on Death Critic's side. I like going on the Miz or something. I like him, so I get ready for Death Critic's side. So I will team up with him for something commentary. So, good luck, and I'm going to watch the commentary. Now here we go.
Haha! Fuck sitting through him mumbling over the intro. I guess it's time to... Oh, and caveat emptor, this is a 5th degree commentary you guys are getting into. So let me lay out the dimensions really quickly before we jump into this. So on the first layer, we have Guptil89's stupid video on swearing. Then on the next layer, we have the Ultra Chicken, who did his first commentary on this, represented by Shadow the Hedgehog. Then you have Death Critic, represented by Black Lady, commentating on this. Then you have Dan mumbling throughout this video. And then on the last layer, you have me wanting to brutally chop everything in this goddamn video.
Hello everybody, it's I, Ultra, and I decided to try something new today. What I'm going to be doing is a commentary. And this will be my first commentary, and I shall be using an avatar. What avatar I will be using, you may ask? I wonder what could it be? Why, none other than my favorite video game character of all time? You know,
Actually, you know what? Your favorite game of all time, you cannot believe only you are. Do something? Why about you choose Galaxy Man or... Oh yeah, Galaxy Man and Mermaid Girl, no, too early. Let me see, Sheep Man, anything, and any Mega Man characters, any Sonic characters, any Sonic characters, take a drink for I go and pick one. So, yeah.
Can anyone decipher that? Because to be honest, I sat here like listening to that part 10 times and I still have no fucking clue what he's saying. I think he's saying something about how Ultra Chicken should change his avatar or Death Critic should change his avatar. I don't know. I can't fucking hear it. And another thing, if he's saying about someone changing avatar, Dan, that's not really important to this commentary. Or whatever you're saying, because I can't fucking understand it.
no, you can at least edit out the words that you mumble so you won't confuse your viewers. Shadow the Hedgehog.
Okay, take a drink about that one for Sonic the Hedgehog.
A drinking game? At what point did he mention a drinking game in this commentary? Is that what he was saying earlier in Gobbledygook?
But one, Shadow is the best character ever. Don't tell me about it. He's a good one. He should be the best character ever. He's just going up. And two, he's not a weak point. He is a strong character just like the Chia had. Do you watch Deathmatch? Shadow is stronger than Vegeta. Actually, I still watch Death Battle or something. But you get a point.
I'm sorry, I thought that you were teaming up with Death Critic to help him with his commentary, not ragging about Shao the Hedgehog and going off on this tangent in Mumblekin.
If I'm thinking Shadow the Hedgehog as your avatar, I'm thinking about... Oh no, it's Foxtrot doesn't leave my own room again. I can't believe he's back. Gosh darn it!
Actually, I hate that dude. Why? This dude is crazy and this dude is do something. May I'm going to do the future commentary later on, but this dude is a troll. I got the bad feeling about this dude.
please stop going off on tangents about people and things that do not matter to this commentary. Oh, and just another thing I want to bring up. I think that Dan actually thinks that Death Critic's commentary is on Boxshot Delta Lima, and I can tell this especially with what he titled it as. You do realize that Death Critic is actually commentating on the Ultra Chicken, right?
Terrible.
And what video am I going to be commentating on? Guptil 89's rant about video game reviewers cursing. This will...
What? What now? I cannot understand you, Guptil, cursing anything, something else.
Wait, Vaughn. Wait, what? Guptil 89's Resurrect Episode 1? That shit is 3 years ago! Are you kidding me? Wow, you just jumped to the biggest bandwagon like Horseshoes used to do. Oh god, this is not gonna be fun, folks.
Actually, it's 2 years ago.
Actually, Death Critic is right, because Guptil made his commentary in January of 2009, and Death Critic made his commentary in January of 2012. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. Dan's making a commentary on a video that's a year old.
It's like someone pursuing a PhD but only reads comic books. There are 3 things that
See, Dan, here's a perfect good reason why you don't record off your screen. Because of stuff like this. It's distracting and it looks tacky.
improv.
Bitch, you stole my joke!
Huh, guess it must have been your only joke, because seriously, you haven't said anything in this entire commentary that was funny whatsoever.
That just says it's just completely a let's play. This does not help your argument at all. And the third...
Yeah, that's true, because you are so stupid and you are lamer than I thought so. So get act together, idiot.
Critical thinking and develop points? Ha, fuck that. Let's just throw out insults like we're 12.
Of these guys is repeated profanity and vulgar actions. Sorry, just had to make the joke.
Oh, here's a wheel ejection, watch.
He's not, seriously. He's rewinding the video. Oh my god, he's seriously rewinding the video. No, seriously, why the fuck was this needed? Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna skip his whole point because he doesn't really talk about anything for the next 1.5 minutes, except he just goes back to complaining about Shao the Hedgehog again. So...
I thought you were going to talk about foul language and game reviews. Are you going back to the beginning? This seems very, very unorganized. So is this commentary video you're doing?
Yeah, because this commentary is going to be a long, long while.
That's because your face is dragging this out way too fucking long. Do I need to rephrase that almost 36 minutes is way too goddamn long for a commentary like this?
That doesn't always show us the trouble points you're describing. Sometimes people watching would want to see the later levels. I certainly would. I don't want to see someone continuously failing to pass a stage or level and having to start over. Again, refer back to what I said earlier. About the Let's Play video?
Yeah, because you would just do something about a Let's Play video already. Earlier ago! Man, you are a dumbass!
You know, if I remember correctly, the title of this video is that you were teaming up with Death Critic. How are you teaming up with Death Critic if you're calling him a dumbass? Or are you calling someone else a dumbass? Because I honestly can't tell, because I'll state this again, I cannot understand whatever the fuck you are saying. Oh my god.
The third problem, profanity and disgraceful actions, is the #1 reason why most game reviewers are hard to enjoy. This problem raises a big question. Do you absolutely think it is necessary to spew out dirty language and have it bounce off a viewer's eardrum? Well, some people find that as a form of entertainment. So yes, it is perfectly necessary to spew out naughty language just to keep their fan base. Don't you understand this at all?
No, because you are laying a part of it. Just don't understand it all because it doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't mean you cannot do anything at all because you are a stupid guy who ever makes sense.
Guys, I'm gonna have to step back here. The hypocrite thermometer is gonna burst, and I really don't want to get mercury on my almost face. Dan, have you even looked at your points so far? Your arguments are the equivalent of the wingdings font. I have not heard one valid argument you have presented. All it has been is just garbled yelling and insults. We're not in the first grade anymore. You're gonna have to use some critical thinking here.
And you are no one ever cannot believe you don't know what to do something. Jeez, on the half hour of this video, this dude doesn't make any sense.
This is coming from someone whose speech is lower than that of Kenny McCormick's.
I mean, think about it for a minute or two. Do you want to know why dirty language is a huge deal? It's mostly because of two important points. Oh, goody. I just can't wait to hear this. Oh, boy. I can't wait to hear his pointless arguments in this bandwagon.
Oh boy, I cannot wait to have pointless cameos.
I cannot wait to has pointless cameos. You are not Wells in Englishment.
First point is, the inappropriate words being launched out of your oral cavity like bullets just make you sound quite unintelligent and not even funny in the slightest. Well, that's just based on a person's opinion. Too many reviewers' favorite words are the F word, the A word, and the S word.
You forgot the B word. You forgot the B word. The F word, the A word, the S word is okay, but you forgot the B word.
Dan, Guptill was just listing what the most common cuss words that are used were. Also, you dragged this point out way too goddamn long.
Besides, you should really take this into consideration. It's also the second point I want to make. There are children who use the internet.
Oh god, why? Why? Don't ever do that again.
What? Children? Oh no, please, we cannot have children. There are do something much plenty when I was a teenager.
No, fuck you, Tangent. We're skipping.
Oh my god. Children using the internet? This is valuable information. I must tell everybody about this.
Sonic, shut the hell up. You had nothing to do with the total agreement of children are. I am, and this is an agreement. Death Quick, commentary, and I will do something about things. Not you. You have 2 fucking years ago. So fuck you.
Yep, that was his entire point right there, guys. Just a big fuck you to Ultra Chicken. Nope, we're done. I'm not sitting through the rest of this. I don't even care what happens in the rest of the commentary. I'm ending here. I think we can all agree that when it comes to commentaries, it's pretty obvious there are some implied do's and don'ts. Dan doesn't really understand any of these. There are a myriad of problems here. The audio is shitty. The video quality is shitty. There is no editing whatsoever, which shows that Dan has put a piss-poor amount of effort into this. He makes no solid arguments whatsoever. He goes on these tangents that don't even mean anything. His speech is atrocious, which means he probably didn't script this out, which I recommend that he probably should. He complains about irrelevant things. He resorts to insults on the lowest rung of the maturity ladder, and he mumbles way too fucking much. As for this whole team-up idea, that's a fancy way of saying, I'm too lazy to come up with any actual material on my own, so I'm going to piggyback on someone else's. But even then, you would think that because he's echoing other people's points, he's going to get that right. But no, all he does is throw around insults and doesn't back them up. He doesn't argue against any of their points, so it's not like he's adding anything new. This has to be one of the laziest commentaries I've ever seen. Oh, and by the way, folks, he doesn't improve at all in the other two. They're the same lackluster quality, the same amount of effort put in, which is little to none. He's still doing the same method as before. Dan, if you're gonna get into commentaries, you have to learn to do two things: entertain and argue. You show no understanding of how to do either, combined with the fact that you are aimless. All it seems that you're doing in these commentaries is just telling people, fuck you, you're stupid. That's not how a commentary works. We're not all 5 years old anymore. You can't argue like that. I can't believe it's been this long, but the time I disappeared, the commentary community was kind of going into a slump, and a lot of people were disappearing, and I kind of did as well because, life. But now I'm back, because this is new time. The commentary community seems to have kind of come back. It's making a bit of a resurgence, which is nice. Which means that there's new topics to discuss, new people to interact with, new discussions to have, and new friends to make fun of. That's the great thing about being here on YouTube, and I'm glad to be back to all you wonderful fucking assholes. So, what am I going to come back with? Well, let's see, I got this new video here. Ooh, new video, 2015. What topics are we talking? Guptil. Talking about Guptil. Alright, I'm gonna level here and be completely honest about something that I feel about doing commentaries on old videos. I actually don't necessarily mind them, but only for two reasons. The first reason being is that if what you want to say about the video hasn't been covered yet, at all, or if it hasn't even been covered, period, and you figure, well, if no one's talked about it, I should. And the second reason being, and this is usually compiled with the first one, that it's still relevant to this day. If this video can provide some light on something that's currently happening now within YouTube or just in general that's still relevant to this day and age and not back in that year, then yeah, go for it. I'm all fine with that. But this is fucking Guptil 89 we're talking about here. Nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing that he has made is relevant to this day and age. Do you know when Guptil was pretty much like the prime relevancy? That was back when M-School had an account, and he doesn't fucking exist anymore. Do you know when his relevancy started to drop out? When I fucking made a commentary on him, and that was 2 fucking years ago.
What's up, and welcome back to Radio 88 Commentaries.
Okay, problem right off the bat. Why are you talking in such a low voice? It makes everything sound like you're setting the tone for some smooth French jazz radio all morning, every morning.
We're going to check on Guptil 89 again, but this time with a less annoying video. So, watch as I debunk every single argument this guy tries to make.
No offense, or maybe all the offense, but this is Guptil we're talking about. It's not that hard to really refute him. This is on par with basic arithmetic, so if you fuck this up, it's gonna look really bad for you. You know, watching this almost feels nostalgic. I feel like after this I should watch a commentary on Joshua 8428 or see what Christian is up to. Also, we're gonna be cutting right here because I don't want you guys falling asleep on me, because this commentary is pretty boring if I didn't cut through, because he makes no real points here.
It's time to move on to other issues.
Like nuclear missiles, and atomic bombs, and M4s.
You know, it's funny we're talking about bombs considering that this No, do you know what? This joke is too easy. Just continue. Fuck the joke. And now skipping because he doesn't really make any point, and I use that term loosely, for a good minute and a half.
The car has to be turned on in order for the openers to be operated, obviously.
I wonder why. Oh yeah, because it's electronic.
So if it starts to rain or snow and your windows are open, you have to get your keys, turn on the automobile, operate the buttons, and finally turn off the vehicle.
That's it? That's the main issue you have with cars? You have to get on the car to... You know what? I'm not even going to answer this one.
What do you mean you're not going to answer this one? This is such an easy thing to counter. Watch. I'll do it. Guptil, why would you leave your car parked with the windows rolled down? Basic rule of owning a damn fucking car, roll your windows up when you park it, because otherwise, yes, rain and or snow is going to get into it, and it's also a lot easier to steal from you. And something I've never seen anyone talk about, by the way, whenever they commentate on this video, is that even with a crank, you'd still have to unlock your car. You can't reach in and roll the window all the way up with your dumb arm getting in the way. Seriously, this was such an easy point to counter, and you passed it up. All you've done is just call this guy an idiot. I don't see any arguing being done here.
But what if you misplace your keys as well as a spare key?
Well, if you misplace your keys, you lack responsibility.
Say hello to a huge pile of cabin snow or big puddles on the seats, if the car isn't in a garage.
Thankfully, my house has a garage, so I don't have to worry about that shit.
While misplacing your car keys is very rare, it still happens.
if you have brain damage.
Well, geez, way to be insulting there, pal. Don't ever tell me that you've never forgot where you put your car keys. I have. It happens from time to time. This has pretty much been your only point, by the way, in this entire video, and it's either a joke in bad taste or it's hyperbolic. Or both.
Do you remember window crankers? They were better since you didn't have to go to all that trouble.
Yay! A fucking nostalgia junkie. Yeah, I like nostalgia, but this is too far.
They could be operated with or without the automobile on. But you know what's really sad? When I was discussing window crankers with my car dealer, he mentioned that only 2% of the auto industry use them. And yet people say that's progress? Yeah, right!
You gonna explain why you're facepalming? Nope, just gonna facepalm and just leave us hanging there? Alright, fine, but I just want to say, though, that facepalming isn't funny anymore. It's a cliche that should have been put out to pasture 2 years ago. Oh my god, why are we still living in the past? It's 2015, people!
By the way, if the car goes into water, the engine shortens out and you wouldn't be able to control the windows.
Then don't drive to the fucking water.
Oh my god, this is fucking Hero of Tomorrow over again. Do you think that people actually drive into the water? The point that Guptill was making was about car accidents of people crashing in the water. Oh my goodness! Is everyone dumb as a fucking watermelon around here? And you know what? We're gonna end the commentary right there. And do you wanna know why? Because I do not have the time or the patience to sit through the rest of this video, especially on a video that's so old. And I don't think you guys would have the patience for this either. Because the rest of the video is just insults or just rehashing old points that people have made. And when I say rehashing old points, I mean doing it in a very, very flimsy way. Raider88, I'm gonna be honest right here. You know, at the end of your commentary, you say too that the other Guptill video that you worked on was a lot more fun. And see, that's an issue right there. That this isn't even your first Guptill commentary. You hacked on another old Guptill video. I'm gonna say this right now. Guptill88 is dead. He's the dead topic. We should just put him in the earth, and let's put a giant tombstone that says, rest in peace, Guptill88, do not fucking dig up. I have seen so many people rehash Guptill88, and I don't understand why. You know, I'm going to be very honest here about Guptill88, and just how I feel about him. I don't think he's a bad person. Sure, he made that really horrible, sexiest Sonic characters list that was, yeah, a bit inappropriate, and his arguments are kind of horrible for technology just in general. But really, whenever I watch Guptill's videos, I don't feel like he's like a jerk or he's being rude. I've seen a lot, in fact, I've seen his whole, you know, video response thing to Youngblood Fantasy 91 back in the day, and to be honest, that was really well constructed, even though he was wrong. He's very polite when it comes to debating him, and honestly, I just feel like that we really don't need to keep rehashing a lot of his videos. But I understand why, and it's because arguing Guptill is easy. He's a very easy target to tackle for people, especially who are new to commentaries. But of course it's going to be easy to tackle Guptill. His arguments are fairly shy to begin with. And also I think it's pretty easy to refute Guptill's points, especially when, and I noticed this when other people have made Guptill commentaries after the fact, is because they've seen commentaries of Guptill by other people. So it's kind of easy to mirror points. And that's honestly sad. Guptill is too easy of a topic to really refute. Before I end this video, let me talk to specifically him. Aside from the whole why are you commentating on Guptill thing, just in general your commentary was bad because a lot of your points, which there were maybe like 2, 3, were really shallow in general. And there were points that were said by other people, and I'm not going to accuse you of the fact that probably you've seen them and you're just copying points here, but it definitely does feel that way. The rest of your commentary is mainly just filled with observations that are pretty obvious, and as well as insults and some jokes that just aren't funny in general because they fall flat on their face. And I think that's really, it just makes your commentary look like one of those really bad third-gen commentators in 2009 that everyone had a fit over. That's what I feel like that we're kind of having like a resurgence here, and I think that's something that we could probably leave back in 2009, 2010 here. Well, it's Halloween time, a perfect time for Bury the Chopper, although I'm more partial to Dia de los Muertos myself. Me encanta calaveras de dulce. But anyways, we have another commentary, and guess who made his return? Jack Cooper the Plumber. Yes, I know that we're all sick of hearing his name, especially over the whole fiasco that he did back in the summer where he plagiarized Youngblood's video entirely. Well, he has come back with a new commentary, so let's hope that maybe he's done better. Even though that his third commentary was adequate compared to his other two, I'm still not holding any high hopes. So let's get this video started. Now, I would be saying that if we were going to sit through his intro, but I decided to cut it out. I guess it's just the Halloween spirit. But the real reason why is because his intro is around a minute long. And that's not even the worst part. It's a minute long, combined with alternative metal music. Oh, and all it is just basically a sped up version of Bleach. No real edits to it whatsoever. This could be done in literally 5 seconds in Windows Movie Maker. Jack Cooper the Plumber, are you serious? You come back out from doing a somewhat adequate commentary and 2 shitty ones, and this is what you give people? You have shown no effort at all. I started the video and literally 3 seconds, I'm like, I'm done with this video. I didn't want to watch the rest of it because the intro was just obnoxious and completely unentertaining. And the length, man, the length. Let's look at some other commentators, like Youngblood's latest commentary video. The intro was 12 seconds long. And let's look at TOG Professor's last commentary video. It was 20 seconds long, but that one had edits in it, had entertaining music. At least it showed that he put in the effort to make it. Let's look at the last commentary that the Nation of Johnny K made. It was 13 seconds long, and it shows that he put a lot of effort into making it. Let's look at mine. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Okay, enough on the introduction. Let's just get on with the actual video.
Hey everyone, this is Jack Cooper with another commentary. I know I previously said that I'm on hiatus, but I have some extra time now this weekend, so I decided to just throw one out there for you.
Maybe this is just me, but is anyone else bothered by the picture that he's using right now? I looked up the age of this character, and from what I found, she's apparently 13. If I remember correctly, Jack said that he was in his senior year of high school, so he's probably 18. Yeah.
Anyways, today's commentary is on the William 0737 and his rant bitching at Retsupre for Retsupraying the nostalgic critic. Good fucking shit. This should be one hell of a ride. Anyways, just sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Greetings everyone, William 0737 here with another rant. In the words of Big Al, you get more out of life with honey than with vinegar, but my honey pie is dried up and Pooh Bear is pissed. I just watched a video called Nostalgia Critic Gets Retsplayed. It sucks, and I'm going to explain why in just a minute. First of all, I know what the fanboys of Retsplay always say. Oh, they're just giving him pointers. No, they're not. They're just insulting him over and over again. Did you even watch that video? They insulted Doug personally, said his videos weren't worth being on the internet, and they insulted his fans, saying that they're wrong for liking him. Wow, what pretentious assholes.
Jeez, dude, calm down. Here's my first problem, though. You're calling anyone who calls you out on your bullshit fanboys of Retsupre, but throughout this whole video, you're acting like a constant fucking fanboy of the nostalgia critic. You'll see what I mean in just a second, trust me.
I can't really trust you if you already just misquoted the video. He did not say the fans who call him out on his bullshit. He's saying, this is what the Retsupre fans always say. Yes, I know it is a generalization, and by that logic it is fallacious, but still, Jack, if you're gonna point out a problem with the video, actually take in what the video said and don't misquote it. And now I'm already having to start to cut out some parts of this video. I'm going to skip ahead to about 2 minutes into the video because Jack literally says absolutely nothing. Even though there are so many things he could have easily said in this video, which astounds me, is that he chose a video that is such an easy topic, yet he barely says anything in this commentary.
You see, folks, those of you who don't know, the two main guys of Retsplay, Slowbeef and Diabetes, rip apart anybody. And they're trying to make it sound like it's all a joke.
It kind of is. That's what we in the commentary community call humor.
Either speak up or audio duck further because your voice and his voice kind of blended together there towards the end.
And like I said before, do you guys think you're the only people who have ever done decent videos? My God. Slowbeef, you may have invented Let's Plays, but you sure as hell didn't invent humor. I don't know what the hell your problem is. I really don't. What? Who the hell decides
Scripting? What the fuck is that?
Stealing other people's jokes? Fuck is that? Oh, and hey, guess who has to cut out another minute of video because Jack didn't commentate on fucking anything, even though this video is super fucking easy to commentate on. God damn it.
Remember what I said? Sloopy and Diabetes got pissed off by that one remark by the nostalgia critic? That's not taking the internet way too seriously. Talk about the pot calling the kettle black.
Yeah, and yet at the beginning of this video, you called anyone who's going to defend Retsupre on this subject fanboys, and yet you're getting so pissed off at Retsupre for making fun of the nostalgia critic. So yes, to quote you, this is certainly pot calling the kettle black. Also, would it really have hurt you that much to script this video, or at least edit out the pauses and gaps of silence? Like, really?
Okay, maybe this is just me, but when I watched the original video, I didn't really feel like it warranted a script. I mean, he doesn't really have a lot of gaps of silence. Maybe there's 1 or 2 seconds. That's not really enough to where I'd say, dude, you really should have scripted this video. I mean, he stutters a little bit, but it's kind of an unscripted rant. I understand if maybe he gets a little stutter in what he says, but overall, I really don't feel like that this warrants a script. Not every single thing needs a script. I think that some people don't realize that some people can do shit unscripted. Like this commentary, it's unscripted. Oh, and another thing, misquotation again. Jack, if you paid attention to the beginning of the video, he said this is what the fanboys say, not anyone who defends Retsupre. Even later in the video, he states that fanboys are different than Retsupre fans. And it looks like we're cutting out another minute and a half of this video. Even though Jack does say something, technically it's just text that goes up and says humor, I'm going to skip it because number one, you already said this point and I don't see why you need to refute one of the only 4 points that you made in this video. Second, really smart idea to put white text on an already saturated to white background. Really smart of you, Jack.
Well, that's it for this video. Well, all I have to say here is that this guy is calling Retsupre a hypocrite when really, I'd call him the hypocrite here. And if you want to call me a Retsupre fanboy for making this video, then fine. I really don't care. How are you a hypocrite, you ask? Well, you claim that people who call you out on your shit are Retsupre fanboys.
That's not what he said in the video, Jack. Misquotation.
And yet you're a fanboy of the nostalgia critic. Not to mention, you claim that Retsupre didn't invent humor, and yet you're claiming that their humor is wrong, which is completely fucking hypocritical.
Okay, number one, that is not hypocrisy, Jack. You do not know how to use that word. Stop throwing around the word hypocrite if it's going to apply to everything. And number two, that is not what he said. He was talking about inventing Let's Plays, not humor.
Double standards never cease to amaze me.
Jack, just stop. Stop. That is not a double standard. You don't know what double standards mean. Let me tell you. A double standard is when a rule that normally applies to everyone is exempt to a certain group. Let's give an example. So for instance, it's normally okay for women to be sensitive. It's okay if a woman is crying in public. But if a man cries in public, it's embarrassing, it's degrading, it's not socially acceptable for a man to cry in public. That is a double standard. TLDR, if you're going to use a term or a word like double standard or pharmacy or verbatim, make sure you know how to use it correctly.
Anyways, that's all for now. Remember to rate, subscribe, do all the good stuff. See you after, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
And at 10 minutes and 28 seconds, we end with a really rushed plea for attention. Please subscribe to me. Jack, don't do that. Actually, technically, this isn't really the end of the video, but I cut out the last minute. Do you want to know why? Because Jack does the same exact thing he did with the intro. Jack, I have a serious question, and I want you to answer this. At what point did you think that that was a good idea? What honestly possessed you to think, hey, do you know what I should do? I should bookend my video with minute-long clips of Bleach playing alternative metal because people will totally like this. Yeah. Oh, and I'm not going to really edit anything in there. I'm just going to leave them as is because, you know, the less effort I show, the better people will like me. Also, why did you barely say anything at all in this commentary? I mean, there are so many things that I could have easily pointed out wrong with William's video. But no, you only point out like 4 or 5 things. Tops. I mean, I could have pointed out at least 30 things wrong with this video. And granted, I probably would have been repeating a few points, but I could have probably done a lot more with that video than you did here in this commentary. If you didn't have much to say, why didn't you just keep the parts of the video that you wanted to commentate on and edit out the rest of it? You obviously weren't wise with your choice on editing in this commentary. TLDR, you still have a lot of work to do if you want to do good commentaries, Jack. And on a last note, I think it's funny that you brought up humor twice in this video, because that's what your commentaries lack. Humor. All 4 of your commentaries, including your OSC, are just really unentertaining because you show no humor in it. You just end up sounding really boring, Jack. Now, I would play the intro here before starting, but instead, I'm going to start by dissecting it. I don't think I've ever said this about an intro before in any of my commentaries, but this is a pretty cringeworthy intro for a few reasons. 1, warning, intense madness approaching. Honestly, no one is going to listen to you with any merit with something like that. 2nd, Kuro Serpentina, Artisan of Madness. If there's one thing that kills a commentary, it's pretentiousness. And if Artisan of Madness is not one of the most vain titles you've ever heard a commentator address themselves as, then I don't know what would be. Plus, it's not the only title he apparently has bestowed upon himself. Check out his channel description. Boy, are you for real? 3rd, this. There's so many neckbeard jokes I could make, but we simply don't have time.
Hello and welcome. My name is Chris Serpentina, and oh, it's good to be back. Doing another commentary again. And wondering why I'm doing this? Because my bro Dante gave me a new intro. Anyway, yeah, the person I'm doing this video on has already been done by Sargon of Akkad. In fact, it was Sargon of Akkad that made me kind of want to actually do this.
Wow, I do not have time to sit through this mumblefest. I get that your mic quality is bad because it's being temperamental, great grammar there by the way, but there's a difference between the audio being bad because your mic is acting up versus the audio being bad because you're too fucking quiet. Finer tip about commentating, no one should have to boost their computer volume and the video volume up to max in order to hear you clearly. I know you guys can hear it a little bit better, but that's because I had to edit his actual voice quality. If you watch the actual video, which I will link to, it's extremely quiet. It also doesn't help that you slur so much when you're talking and have all these hiccups in your flow. There's this thing called a second take, you know. Oh, and also scripting. Now, before we get into who he's commentating on, let me play something he says.
For Sargon's video, and just be like, this nigga's stupid.
Oh boy, this is gonna be a fun commentary. Oui.
Ta bouche, Robetta, écoute, la nature est là, ne vous étonnez pas, ça pue le coup d'état. Humains A L'eau.
Aquabia.
Salutations.
Hey, I'm back, ready to attack, I'm back, ready to attack.
And I am here to rip you a new asshole. Something I have a terrible feeling you will enjoy.
Ha ha ha! It's funny because he sounds gay. What I say is funny and doesn't sound creepy because I'm speaking like a stalker.
My ex is now dating a big ass, old ass, ugly ass, cave beast, Urugu, Neanderthal Tom, totally complexion individual.
Well now, that's the longest and most unnecessarily complicated way of saying she's dating a white guy. Yeah, you can see why I'm doing this on this motherfucker. This nigga's stupid.
So, in a rant about racism, let's just throw in a racist epithet. Because, you know, that helps. Also, along with him being really soft, he's also really slow, which is why this commentary has been dragged out to a point where it didn't even need to be this long.
So if y'all thought that I hated white people before, word.
First, what the fuck was that laugh? No, seriously.
It was an over-exaggerated laugh done for comedic purpose. There, we're done. Skip the rest of this long-ass point, please.
Moi, humain, pas pou. Primaire et pas vous. Si évoluer, c'est ça. Moi, j'évolue pas pour un sou.
Also, I moved from Los Angeles, California to Tampa, Florida.
Nobody cares! You stupid cunt, shut your fucking mouth. Oh my god, shut up.
No, stop the stupid fucking clip. So if nobody cares, then pray tell, why, Black Serpent Beta, did you play this god-awful long clip and then go on to show the irrelevant part of the video? Man, there's this thing called skipping. Watch how easy it is.
Mais les petits modernisés. Pourquoi tu me parles mal? Je respecte les pygmées, donc respecte les massages.
All white people are racist.
And so are you. Everyone's racist. Everyone's a little bit racist.
Humor is dead and we all die with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna lower down the science here. Basically, there's a bit in the brain which creates it. It's in everyone. Everyone. And to put it simply, originally it was designed to detect friend from foe. So it's something that kept early humans alive. It's like, oh shit, that fucking thing's gonna try and kill me. Let's get the fuck out of here. But it's a little bit, how to put it, too sensitive. It's designed to see the self as in the person that they identify, the person that they themselves are, as the norm, and everything else as a different.
Citation fucking needed! Aside from that being the clunkiest explanation I have heard this year, I honestly doubt this is something that is backed up. I couldn't find anything of the sort on this, and if someone does find something, please link it to me. Regardless, I found this to be factually wrong. In fact, I found studies that state the opposite, that racism is not a naturally occurring construct, but rather a social one. And unlike Mr. Level 3 Atheist over here, I'll actually link my sources.
Moi parler de glacier, si couler, moi fâché. Je saurais où te chercher quand comme moi tu seras perché.
But Gazi, don't make such general statements. It's wrong. Don't make general statements, Gazi. Okay, so all general statements are not incorrect, right?
Not all of them, no. Just most of them.
All rocks are hard, all water is wet.
Okay, this is something I want to argue on, because Dazzy, I think that's his name, I don't know, Black Serpent Beta didn't link the fucking video that he's commentating on, is just as wrong as Black Serpent Beta. Let me show you how to properly attack someone like this. First off, both of these general statements are bad. Let's talk about the first one. All rocks are hard. Well, hard is subjective. What do we mean by hard? Because a rock mainly composed of talc isn't hard at all. You can break it pretty easily with just your fingers. Salt rocks are also pretty brittle too. Second, even if we were to concede to some general thing that both of these things are true, humans aren't like rocks or water. Rocks and water do not have a conscience. They don't think. They are just there. They are inanimate. Humans are animate. Humans are a product of the society and their surroundings, and racism is something that is embedded into particular societies and not the nature of some ethnicity. Third, the phrase white people is extremely vague because it's implying that all white people in the world are socially the same here, which is not the case. View the culture of people living in Bilbao, Spain, and compare it to the people living in Łódź, Poland. Both people that I'm pretty sure that Dazzy and as well everyone else here would consider to be white. There's great social difference there. Also, how people regard race and what group they belong to differs greatly than how it is here in America. Why do you think in Europe there's such a marked difference between Northern Europeans like Dutch, Germans, and French, with Southern Europeans like the Greeks, Italians, and Iberians, versus Eastern Europeans like Ukrainians, Lithuanians, and the Polish? This is why Dazzy's generalization is flawed, because he fails to understand exactly what he's defining and has a very American-centric point of view when he's defining a global group.
And a lot of you understand, right, through systems of oppression, that all black people are oppressed.
Oh, that's a fallacy if ever I've heard one. And then going by you, I have a feeling that you like fallacies. And yes, that was a dick joke. Get off my back.
There was a dick joke in there somewhere? I couldn't tell, because your speech is like the quality of a low-res JPEG image.
Right? And you understand that all white people have white privilege.
I keep hearing that phrase, but I've never heard any real, examples. I've never really heard them talk about any attributes that this white privilege comes with.
Despite the fact that I feel that white privilege is a fairly hinky term because it's way too vague and ignores a lot of other factors, it does indeed exist, at least here in America. A good example of this is racial profiling. White people, quote unquote, have a privilege of not being subjected to being under the radar of when questioned by authority figures.
Well, I'm white, my life's been hell, and I'm also autistic, so yeah. People like picking on people. People just like being badasses to people who are different. That's just how the world works. Deal with it, nigga.
Hold on. Let me say that phrase again for you people. That's just how the world works. Deal with it, nigga. You know, Black Serpent, it's not really funny when you keep saying nigga. It's just really cringeworthy. It also makes you look incredibly stupid. It really doesn't help your point when you're basically excusing racism because that's just how the world works. Just because that's how the world is doesn't mean it's right. And that's a really dumb point to make.
You get that, right? Those are general statements that are true. So all general statements are not false.
And then, that's a fallacy. The same fallacy you keep using. Yes, not all general statements are false. That doesn't mean any general statements are false. You just gave 2 examples of false ones, sir. You just kind of shut yourself in the foot, good sir.
Well, that's it. You're grounded from fallacies. You obviously don't know how they work. Go to your room. No dessert.
So you understand that all white people get white privileges and all black people are oppressed.
Oh my God. This is why you're stupid.
But you don't understand that those 2 realities have mental repercussions. How do you get that, girl? How don't you get that, girl? Why don't you connect the dots? Connect the dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It makes a horse. Remember those little drawings we used to make?
You're an idiot and a scammer.
Make with the dots. Amazing. I miss being a child. That all black people suffer from post-traumatic slave syndrome.
What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about, Willis?
You know, are you just trying to be the most cringiest commentator out there? Because just randomly throwing in media clips in the video is really helping you win that shit trophy.
Or post-traumatic colonial syndrome, right? Which equals a lot of self-hate and anti-blackness within us and also makes us glorify and love whiteness, right? That we want to be more and more white. We want to be the exceptional Negro. We want to have the things that they have, right?
And yet I've never ever seen a black person attempt to become white. I might be wrong. It may happen. I don't know. Anyone want to correct me in the comments? Feel free. Give me examples. But I've heard a lot more examples of white people attempting to become black. They're called tanning salons.
Regrets! Regrets! It has nothing to do with that. Tanning has more to do with the fact that Coco Chanel got sunburned than it does with wanting to be black.
Je te l'explique encore, moi devoir définir, toi pas comprendre, va parler ou plutôt réfléchir.
As black people, we really need to understand the realities of the world, not as which we would like them to be, or we try to imagine them to be, but what it actually is.
In that case, every black person watching your video should instantly stop listening to you. Because you don't know what reality is, nigga. You know shit. No fuck all. I can just the initial part of you and the way you act, it's obvious and blatant that you're a fucking madman.
Hey, Black Serpent, I got a secret. Closer. 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 So the fuck are you?
Imbécile tel, même si tel, trop risqué d'être écouté, même à telle ou telle heure.
Okay, this is actually simple pathology, y'all. Y'all need to crack open a book. Didn't I tell you to read Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome? Didn't I tell you to read that book? Didn't I tell you to read WEEABOO? Didn't I tell you to read that book? Get that girl. Get that book, girl. Get that book, girl. Okay, so.
Baby, you're crazy. Baby, you're crazy. Definitely.
Maybe it's on down. Maybe it's on down. So don't ruin songs by Nostalgie. Oh hey, look, I'm gonna skip the end of this first video so we can move on to the second part. Yay! Fucking A.
This is just me telling you exactly what is going on, okay? Scientists have actually already proven this. I will post the link below. In that link, you will find a study.
Okay, I decided to be like, hey, here's the actual thing he's talking about. So, here it is. I'm showing it to you. This is the actual study he's mentioning. Alright, let's have a look at this. The human brain fires differently when dealing with people outside of one's own race, according to a new study. Mirror neural systems.
Okay, this is the laziest thing I've seen. You figure that he would have, I don't know, read it ahead of time instead of fucking skimming the article during the damn commentary?
Basically, this is the exact thing I was talking about earlier. This is the part of the brain which originally recognizes friend from foe. The reason that its reaction to people of other races is because that part of the brain sees them as other, because, well, they look different, don't they? I'm not gonna lie, people with the races look different. That's why people notice the race in the first place, because of visual differences.
This is the thing that both of you are completely fucking forgetting. I have one problem with the study, and that is, where was the study done? Where were these people from? Were they from different social backgrounds, or were they from the same background? We're also not given a number of how many people participated. There could have been 100 people. There could have been 4. Neither of you bothered to question that at all, and that's sad. If you're going to have a study like this, I would like to see some actual real data. There's a lot of things that are way too vague for me to take this study extremely seriously. Is there some merit to it? Yes. But considering the fact that they study only one variable group, the study's kind of hinky.
Doesn't mean they're not human. Still treat them the same. But here's the thing. You can tell that there's actually a bias in this study because there's participants all white. Here's the thing. If they'd actually done that study with other people, people of all races, then they would have found that the exact same thing happened in all of them. It's just a natural part of the psyche.
I'll give Black Serpent credit that yes, there should have been non-white participants to see if this was something that was viewed across all races. But something I want to point out is that the very fucking bottom, that cognitive perspective taking exercises, for example, can increase empathy and understanding, thereby offering hope to reduce prejudice. That would support more of my claim that racism is a societal trait and something that you are taught and not inherently learned through your ethnicity. If cognitive exercises like that can be a solution to lower prejudices.
Tête droite ou tête gauche, t'es beauf ou bobo de Paris, soit t'es l'un ou soit t'es l'autre, t'es un homme ou bien tu péris.
Guess what they found out about white people? Nothing. None of those connected things happened.
Okay, so where's your evidence for this? The study you linked was nothing to do with that. The study was just like, hey, look, people, it was brains react differently to people of different races.
You know, if you actually read that article, you'd make the correlation he's putting together. Their motor cortex was significantly less likely to fire when they viewed minorities performing this act. And this motor neuron system, which the cortex is a part of, is an important building block for empathy. Granted, he's still wrong, mainly because the study is vague and one-sided, and also that there was low firing and not zero firing. But you really need to learn how to fucking read and listen, man.
Mécréant ou terroriste, t'es veuche ou bien t'es barbu, conspirationniste, illuminati, mythomaniste ou vendu.
Now, since the study has just been done, we don't know if white people never had this connection in their brain.
What study? What the fuck are you talking about? The link you gave has absolutely fucking nothing to do with what you're talking about.
You made your point. I already said that you're wrong. Skip, please.
Rien du tout, ou tout de suite, du tout au tout indécis. Hein, tu changes d'avis imbécile, mais t'es où tout si.
But Gazi, what about my white mom that adopted me? She's so nice. But Gazi, what about my white friends? They're so nice. Gazi, what about my white lover? I love my white lover so much.
You're going to have to learn to hold them accountable. White people be saying some anti-black shiznit.
And you're spouting some anti-white shiznit right now. And it's still racism. Racism is racism no matter who says it. I know it's not particularly politically correct to talk about this, but it's true. Racism is racism. If you're going to be racist to people, I'm going to call you out on it. And here's the thing, if they're not actively being racist, if they're not actively going, shut up, you fucking nigger, then no, they're not being racist.
As much as I do agree here a bit, that is still a pretty shallow definition of what is racist and what isn't racist. And see, this is why I don't think you, or Dazzy for that matter, should be handling a topic such as this, because you both really don't understand the finer aspects at all about racism. This is something you have to study from both sides, something you have to really look into about. A shallow understanding that is based solely on your societal experience and that alone is not valid enough. Use it as anecdotal evidence, use that as a point, but not as a full argument, because that's utterly rubbish and it ignores all other factors out there.
Flamand, wallon, bras ballants, bras longs. Finalement, t'es raciste, mais t'es blanc, bien t'es marron, hein?
On every second of the second. If you're not catching it, that's because you're not looking for it. You're not aware enough. You're not conscious enough to it. So you need to become conscious enough to it. Then you need to hold these people accountable to their actions and their words and let them know that, yes, you are white. Therefore, you are anti-black. You are naturally racist. You are racist!
Yeah, let's just use the same media clip over again because it was funny the first time. Look at my sarcasm, for it is a plea for help.
Born into this society, you are born into this pathology, so you need to work against this consistently every day. Understand that you are a parasite invading as European on American soil that was created by the destruction of the Native American and enslavement of black people.
So now you're saying that you speak for all Native American people as well. Well, I doubt they'd agree with you there, because they were the ones who had their homes destroyed by people who were long dead. Here's the thing. I could sit here for literal days correcting you and point out how much fucking bullshit that is. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter. In the end of the day, all the people who involved with that stuff are dead. Let the dead rest.
Except that the mistreatment of Native Americans and First Nation people is still a thing. And also, what about all the modern racism he brought up in his argument? Dazzy's argument is still stupid and yes, racist, but address it properly. Holy crap.
And as for another matter, yes, they are parasites, but so are you, because you're human. Humanity is a parasite that feeds upon the earth. You're a parasite as well. If you're gonna call anyone a parasite, call everyone a parasite, you stupid fucking...
Okay, edgelord, we get it. Everyone's a parasite.
You always have to understand that. You always have to understand that this system only exists because of consistency of imperialism that destroys and oppresses peoples of color all over the world.
The empire is dead. As an Englishman, it does kind of hurt me somewhat, but yeah, the empire is fucking dead.
How can there be partly some empire when the empire is dead? Man, be fucking consistent!
It's been dead for ages upon ages. And I'd say at least 100 years it's been dead.
Looking at specifically the British Empire, that isn't true at all. Disregarding the obvious point of the British overseas territories being considered a remnant of imperialism in places like Montserrat, Akrotiri and Dhekelia, and Bermuda, there were a lot of places still under the control of Britain less than 100 years ago. In fact, the most recent independence was Brunei in 1984. That's only a little more than 30 years ago. Not that long ago, historically wise. What could arguably be considered to be the end of the British Empire was when they handed Hong Kong over to China in 1997. Not even 20 years ago. You fucking fail at history too.
D'ailleurs, monsieur a un ami noir, et même un ami à rien. Monsieur est mieux que tout ça. D'ailleurs, tout ça, ça ne sert à rien.
But do you know, mate, what really gets me, what really makes me get going? Stupidity. People like you. Absolute idiot. I don't want, but it doesn't make me uncomfortable. I don't want to talk. It doesn't make me not want to talk about it. It makes me want to grab you by the goddamn hair, drag you into the sunlight, and watch you burn like the vampire you are.
Look at me, I'm Mr. Stuttering Edgelord.
The stuff you're talking about is horseshit. You have no citation. You have no evidence. The citation you get is both biased and nothing to do with what you're on about. You're just being an asshole and a racist for no goddamn motherfucking reason. You absolute fruitcake.
So in our time together, our unfortunate time together, you have used a slur for race and sexuality. How are you honestly better? Tell me that. How are you honestly better if you're going to resort to such dumb insults?
Alright you guys, so that's my comeback video. I hope you like it. I make a video every Monday.
This nigga dumb! So, anyway, yeah. This is about as much as I can take at stupid piece of shit.
So that's how you're gonna end, by playing a stupid insult from Vine and just cutting him off? Awesome. A+ work here, people. Honestly, I'm not gonna play the rest of his video. It's just an outro. There's no need. So at a total of 26 minutes and 59 seconds, we finished this two-parter mess. And oh my god, I'm so glad we're done. So I want to use my outro to talk to both of these people of mine. First to Dazzy, because like I said, I don't agree with what he says. Look outside your little myopic box about racism. Racism is not something whites only participate in. This is something that all races can be guilty of, and it's the fault of the individual person, not the race as a whole. Your solution does not work. It only fosters that behavior. You're contributing to the problem. If you want racism to stop, do not hold a race accountable. Hold those specific people that are guilty accountable. If you blame a whole race, you alienate people and thus make racism linger longer than it should. You're part of the problem. You're not part of the solution. As for Black Serpent Beta, you're fucking stupid. I'm not gonna sum up why because I just spent the entirety of my commentary doing so. Please review that to understand why you're stupid.
Yeah, okay, fuck this stupid place. I'm lost. How hard is it to find Raven when there's like 5 roads in this entire place? I mean, I can't tell that fjord from that fjord, whatever the fuck that word is, or that volcano from that one, and half of these names, aside from the fjords, are just like something you'd get out of a freaking baby on crack smashing the keyboard. Raven, why the fuck did you have to move to Iceland? You dick.
Scarlet? Is that you?
Finally. There you are. How can such a small country be this big?
Oh, that's easy. You see, it's because most of Iceland exists on a special plane on another dimension. Harnessing geothermal energy and Björk's power, the country is able to slip into a dimension that—
Okay, look, it's been way too fucking long. You haven't made a commentary in almost a year. You're overdue.
Well, what, now? But I'm busy here. I was appointed by Björk as a foreign relations manager, we just built a new volcano, and we almost won UEFA.
Raven!
Oh, okay, fine. It has been a bit too long, and I've missed a lot. So, I guess I gotta start looking for maybe something on music, or video games, or—
No. There's something for you right here. As the queen anime of the CC, I think it's time that you tackle some of the weebs.
No! I always knew this day would come. If I must. Wait, I thought TOG was the queen.
He is obviously the princess.
Yeah, okay, fair point. Well then, if I have to go against the weebs, I'm gonna go straight for the jugular on this one.
Oh, so you mean...
Yep, it's time I tackle the foreign Gaijin. Wait, hold on. This won't do. I need to make use of video space. Hold on, let me find a background. Fucking shit. Where's background? Background. Wait. Oh, this will do. Let me just put it up. Here we go. There, that's better. Golden cleared. This is MrSirRaven back once again. So yes, I have been gone for so long. Blame it on a busy and terrible semester, and also I was traveling with a friend who is a loser. So while the summer was starting, I was in Ireland and Iceland. Yeah, Iceland. I went there. Yeah, Iceland. I went there. Yo, Iceland. And having spent a week in Iceland, I must say words could not describe my experience. I loved everything about it, and I'm determined to go back soon. My background is in fact one of the pictures I took from the trip. It's just outside the famous Blue Lagoon spa near Grindavik. So I didn't really have time to work on commentaries, and I know this video was made back in April, but I have seen no one talk about this, and honestly this was something that I really wanted to tackle. Because man, if there's one thing I really want to talk about, it's weeaboos. Oh yes, the weebs. Who can forget them? Who can hate them? The answer is no one and everyone. Now generally, I don't care if you like anime. I mean, I like anime. I think you can tell I do. I have a pretty short list, but I still like anime like The Filthy Frank Show and all my all-time favorite, Tonarino Seinferudo. So a while back, one of my friends linked me to this video that was by none other than Gaijin Goomba, a channel that I've mainly only heard of and not really watched myself. Although it seems from my friends on and off the internet that the reception towards Gaijin tends to lean more negative. But anyways, he has a video on what a weeaboo is, and well, you'll see what I have to say on that. But first, I'm gonna skip the beginning because there's nothing of real substance for a good 2 minutes in. The intro is just him saying the video is gonna be him talking with Akidiris. So yes, I'm actually commentating on 2 people. You get 2 for the price of 1. Lucky you guys.
But for me, I've been dabbling in a lot of anime content as of late. I mean, I talked about what it means to be otaku, hikikomori, talking about fan service. So I figured, let's talk about the one thing that both of us are called on a constant basis, but feel like we don't really deserve it. Weeaboo.
Now, I know this is mainly going to be a potshot point, and that's pretty bad to open up on, but not deserving of being called a weeaboo. Your name is Gaijin. Your overall channel motif is centered around a very telling Japanese theme. Most of your videos are about Japanese media, whether it be anime or video games. In fact, out of the last 30 videos you have made, 2/3 of them are about Japanese media in some way. And that's just at a glance. Your character persona is a Goomba dressed up with a very distinct and unmistakable Japanese motif, especially with the fucking katana you have. It's not really hard to slap the weeaboo label on you.
Let's kind of define what it is. So my definition is basically someone who wishes to abandon their cultural identity in favor of a Japanese identity, with tendencies including thinking that Japan is the best country in the world and massive great glorification. They learn all of their information and everything about Japanese culture from media, you know, the greatest source ever to find it. They have a huge disdain for any other culture, and they tend to think they know everything about Japan, having never been there, but just watched a lot of anime and read a lot of manga. So, good stuff. So Aki, how about you? Like, what do you believe your definition is?
Yeah, well, it's essentially kind of like the same thing, is that, well, first off, weeaboo is thrown around to almost anyone who has any kind of interest whatsoever in not just anime, but just Japan in general. It's almost like it's a crime that we can't even try to learn the language, try to even share any interest in anime, unless you were Japanese, which even then, a lot of people still confuse it with talking about weeaboos, because they'll still pertain it to Japanese people themselves.
While Gaijin's definition was more or less correct, there's something I want to address, and this is going to be the thing that I'm going to try to not repeat throughout the video, but probably fail. While weeaboo, yes, has a set definition, it is also used jokingly, and that's the huge word here. Joke. It's the same thing with saying you like some media with anthropomorphic characters and suddenly everyone's calling you a furry. People know that you're not actually a furry. The only way you'd actually be a furry is that if you yourself said that. But that's the joke of it. But obviously jokes are dead and words hurt, so lo and behold, this video exists.
So
is there a story you want to share with that?
Oh, yeah. I
Go
mean,
ahead.
I have this friend who's another YouTuber. You guys might know him. He's Joey the Anime Man, and he is half Japanese. He speaks Japanese. He's fluent in it, and he's very familiar with the culture. He's been there, and he's going to live there for quite some time. And constantly, we always like share with each other that even he is called a weeaboo, and it's as if no matter how many times we define it to the public, it's as if it'll never get through to them because it's still just stereotypically given.
Hey yo fam, or maybe it's because people don't care what the actual rigid definitions of words are and they're using it as a joke. Internet linguistics are not something you can necessarily corral into set definitions. People are going to have exaggerated and jokey uses for them.
As anyone that shows or expresses any kind of interest in Japanese culture. This isn't even about like if you're technically Japanese, like it's to a point that I don't even think the people who call weeaboos what they are even understand what it is anymore.
You do know that one of the stereotypes of a weeaboo are people who try so hard to deflect that they're not weeaboos, right? By saying that they're only otakus and that people don't really know what weeaboo means.
And so it almost feels like whenever we're called weeaboo, even when we define it so clearly, it's as if like we're not even allowed to have these passions or aspirations to learn about Japan unless we're a master at it.
Oh, come on, Aki. I feel like that's maybe taking it slightly a bit far. Like, I get that being called names isn't nice, but remember this is the internet. You need to grow a tough skin and can't be discouraged because you were called a simple 7-letter word.
It actually feels on the same insult level of autism, and I hate to drudge that back up, but I mean...
Oh, really? Being called a weeaboo is on the same level as being called autistic? Really, Gaijin? think about what you're saying here. There's a huge difference when it comes to these words. And it's obvious you didn't want to bring it up because of how quickly you start to jump to the next topic there, almost cutting yourself off. It's almost like you want to rush by that point so as not to draw attention to it, which failed because you brought it up later on.
It's just a thrown around word, but it's something we wanted to talk about regardless. I mean, for crying out loud, you did a video about weeaboos, which is kind of like just a gigantic middle finger. But It's funny because when I originally conceived of this video, I found your content by looking for pictures of stereotypical weeaboos, and there weren't any.
Are you really sure about that? Either you're lying or you really didn't search hard enough. Let's be real, Gaijin. There is definitely a stereotype when it comes to what weeaboos look like and how they portray themselves online and off.
That was the most hilariously stupid thing, and I found your thumbnail. I'm like, I should give this girl a watch, and everything was right. Like, it just blew my mind. So both of us just kind of want to explore in a little bit less of a ragey way what this definition is and kind of our experience with it, which has always been a lot of fun. So it's interesting because I get called weeaboo all the time outside of the context of anime, manga, and the otaku community in general. Like, my big Japan story is I fell in love with video games and anime, which did evolve into a cultural desire to understand the fundamentals of a society that is so opposite of my own. I became fascinated with the contemporary art, like ukiyo-e bunraku no kabuki rakugo. I became fascinated with their folklore. They've got freaking 8 million gods and even more stories involving them. Like, one of my favorite animes of all time, which most people wouldn't even classify as an anime, is Nippon no Mukashi Banashi. And if you've ever heard of that, be proud, because I promise you the majority of people throwing around the word of weeaboo do not know.
Oh yes, those people who call me weeaboo don't know what they're saying because I watch a classy anime that most people haven't heard.
Do you understand how much of a weeb thing that was to say? Good for you that you got into Japanese culture due to a love of Japanese media. But you know, having this been one of really the only videos from you I have ever seen, I don't question anymore at all why you get that label thrown on you.
I became interested in their traditional games like Koi Koi, which I'm doing multiple videos about. I became interested in their instruments. I played taiko for like 6 months, and I loved it, and I wish I could do more. I wanted to live there and teach people who were interested in a world that they were told they shouldn't or even couldn't understand, i.e. the rest of the world. And it just blew my mind. And it's like, I'm not even really one that's super attracted to anime. It's like,
oh, come off it, Gaijin. You're attracted enough that you've spent videos talking about it. That's like me saying that I'm not really into anime when I use a fat fucking suit of armor from One Leg, One Arm Boy and his brother, the Child Tin Man, the anime.
I really don't like moe, which is the whole topic of the other video that we did together.
Yeah.
Like, I respect the ever-loving crap out of One Piece, Attack on Titan, and Kill la Kill, and a lot of other popular shows. But I just am not that big a fan of one. Like, my top 5 anime, with no particular order, are Rurouni Kenshin, Samurai 7, Azumanga Daioh, Oshiete Galko-chan, really like that one, and Genshiken. And if you know all of those, congratulations, because those are really obscure.
Oh, I'm not really attracted to anime because I don't like the popular ones, but these fairly obscure anime I do.
I think that's way more of an argument that you are super attracted to anime. Also, I looked up that last one, and apparently it's about an otaku club. Boy!
Yeah, I would totally agree. And, I mean, even that being said, it's just like, for me, I am openly admitted to saying that I'm just an anime casual, meaning that I would like to think I was not an elitist because even though I make anime analysis, I explain it in such a way where it's just it's so simple, and I feel like I'm not even pushing it in anyone's face. I'm just an anime channel, and when you come to an anime channel, you get exactly what you came for, and yet, you know, and I'm showing my interest in anime, and I share that passion with, you know, people.
How can you say you're an anime casual and then in the same breath say that you've devoted your channel to reviewing anime? That makes no sense. You're way more than a casual if that's what your channel's about. Holy crap, hashtag cognitive dissonance. That's like Ryan saying, oh, I'm just a commentary casual. But he has dedicated his channel to commentaries. He is, by all definition, a commentary weeaboo. a CCaboo.
But it's as if, like, I can't do that without being called a weeaboo. And as I said before, if you're not Japanese, then you'll be called a weeaboo whether you like anime or whether you just like Japanese culture, or even a mix of the both.
Welcome to the fucking internet, where everyone is an asshole and also sometimes perverts, and they all like to make fun of you. Yeah, it sucks that the internet generally brings out the worst in people, but it's not really gonna get any better. You're just gonna have to grow a tougher skin. Besides, I feel like that there are way worse things to be called on the internet. Also, I know it sounds like I am skipping in between points to interject a lot, but the problem is that with both of them, especially Aki, they don't often end a sentence, so their points ramble on. Both of you seriously need to learn to take a beat in between thoughts. And I get that this is non-scripted and on the fly, and I've had that problem in the past, but it is an issue.
We feel like on the internet, socially, that it's already engraved that weeaboo is kind of almost like just a slang term just to slap onto.
Oh, no fucking shit, really? I didn't know that. Except here's the problem. Weeaboo has always been a slang word. Slang, by the way, refers to vocabulary of non-standard words and phrases in a given language, usually associated with subcultures. You know, like the internet. Weeaboo has never been standard lexicon. Stop trying to paint it like it was.
Anyone that doesn't like anime, especially if you don't like anime. If you don't like anime and you do not like the community of people that like Japanese culture and anime, if that's very alien to you, those people tend to throw out the word weeaboo without even knowing the correct context, and even if they do, they don't care.
No.
Of course they don't, because they're trying to make you upset, and judging by the fact that this video exists, it worked. Because here you are, bothered enough that you are trying to be prescriptivist with language, and holy shit do I hate prescriptivists with linguistics. Not just any language, but with slang! Joking slang!
And that's the thing too, is like when we both started talking about putting this video together, we just kind of looked at each other and be like, it's not gonna matter. The comments, go ahead and fill the comment section full of "you are weeaboo," Kappa face, whatever.
Weeaboo trash.
We kind of don't care, because by just blurting that out, you don't matter.
You know what I am really tired of people saying? That they don't care about a topic. But then devote an entire video to the topic, for fuck's sake! You care! You made this video and spent about 20 fucking minutes on it! You can't say you don't care, you wiener! Let's get some guidelines clear, just for anyone that's watching this. If you absolutely don't care, then here's what you can do when making a video on the topic. Step 1, don't! By making a video on the topic, you care. You care enough to devote time to this. I can't say that I don't care about this video or about this topic, because I do. Because I devoted time to script, edit, and upload this crap to YouTube.
In fact, the greatest compliment I ever received from anyone in Japan, it actually came from the math teacher at the school that I worked at, Tani Sensei. This was at Kimono High School. Look it up if you think I'm lying. It's real. And I remember I was working on just my little laptop that had no disk drive. And he was talking about it, and I said, what did I say? It was like, Totemo benri na dakedo, shoto fuben na. CD drive ga inai desu kara. Or, no, not inai, just 9 dakara. And he stopped, and he looked at me, and it was just this weird quietness. And then he said, Nihonjin mitai. And for those of you that don't speak Japanese, that means, it literally means you look Japanese. But in the context of it, it's like he was telling me that I was one with their society. I understood their society. Wow. I've worked my ass off to under that 14 years to understand their society and to be ready to live in it, because I loved it beyond popular culture into contemporary culture and contemporary art, and you can't take that away from me. I don't care how many times you call me a weeaboo, I don't care how many stupid comments you ever make, they themselves told me I was adept.
Great story, but didn't you say that you called yourself Gaijin for a reason? Which, by the way, if it wasn't obvious to anyone, Gaijin means foreigner, literally outside person. And some feel there is a negative connotation to it, so the phrase Gaikokujin has been adopted as a more neutral way to say it in Japanese media. You said it's because you will never be accepted as an equal by them. Yet here you are saying that they themselves, and by they you mean one person, representing a whole ethnicity, said you were adept, as if that was some sort of acceptance. You know, Gaijin, I'm beginning to really understand why my friends tend to not like you, and it really doesn't have much to do with you being into Japanese media. In fact, one of the people who I know is the most vocal about not liking you is a big weeb himself for John G's adventure that is not orthodox in the slightest.
At this point, I'm just really desensitized to the word because no one's gonna come up to me on a con and dare call me that.
Right.
Because I will put you in the metaphorical ground.
Metaphorical ground.
So you're desensitized to it, but not enough to shit on someone if they dare call you that in public. You know, if you're gonna be prescriptive on WEEABOO, then maybe understand how words work, because you can't be desensitized if you're gonna put someone in the ground for calling you something that you said you didn't fucking care about! I think my blood sugar's low.
It's like, okay, so you know how people are like, I spent 12 years in doctor college, and you don't call me Mr., you call me Doctor. I didn't go to school for 12 years for you to call me Mr. I'm the same way. I didn't spend 14 freaking years of my life to understand these people out of a love and a desire to not only teach them, but teach all of you about them. Because it's even to this day, it's still kind of a big thing. I understand that Korea is really, really poppy right now, but regardless, it's like...
First off, great job finishing your own thought there before just tangenting yourself into the next thing. And no, I'm being serious, he doesn't finish that thought. Second, tell me how that doesn't sound arrogant at all.
I didn't spend 14 years of my life doing this to be called a weeb.
Definitely not snobby, no sir.
I guess it doesn't matter because I don't care anymore.
And so I lie on the floor and wait to wake from this nightmare, but I find that I am still here, trapped.
I've earned it.
Right.
And like we've both already said, it doesn't matter because people are going to be doing it anyway. But I just don't care. Your argument is invalid.
If he says that he doesn't care, one more time, I am going to scream. I mean it. My well of patience has run dry. Let's keep that in mind and just try to finish this.
And I just don't care.
Motherfucker!
And our top story tonight, a volcano that no one can pronounce has erupted again in Iceland, causing major air traffic jams for commentaries. So far, most of Western Scandinavia, the Low Countries, and the British Isles are covered with ash, so sucks to be you, Akraloth. The ash storm may spread across the Atlantic to the furthest reaches of Arctic Canada, where David will surely be affected if he isn't already dead. Wait. I just received news that David is dead, confirmed dead by explosion. The ash cloud will persist until Bjork quells the elements, or once people finally stop caring. Up next, Master TP10's story on how he completely took over the pickle industry, and how much vaporwave is too much vaporwave. And finally, is Ryan Rhino Mills polluting the current youth? Our findings may surprise you.
Yeah, and that's where, like, I think that, like, I could pretty much end it with just saying, like, you know, it's unfortunate to say, but we can't say that we didn't try, that people haven't tried to explain what this was. But I feel like now it's already just engraved as a slang term.
Right.
It never stopped being slang. It is not common English lexicon. In fact, I tried to look it up in multiple online dictionaries, and the only one that it actually gave me a definition for was in Wiktionary. And even then, it labeled it as slang. Stop using the word slang. You obviously don't know what it means.
That unfortunately has been well, first off, just where it derived from doesn't even make any sense, let alone even today, you know, it doesn't make any sense. So
it came from a comic that had nothing to do with Japan or anime or anything.
Exactly, yeah. It came from a comic that was completely irrelevant, and even to this day, you know, we gave it a definition, and even that didn't stick.
Both of you are wrong. And good, because this means I get to go into the etymology of the word weeaboo. The antecedent of the word was Wapanese, a portmanteau of the word white and Japanese, used in the same vein as the word wigger is. Around 2003, the word Wapanese became very prominently used on, where else, but 4chan, and continued to be abused until about mid-2005. By then, since the word had been so overly abused, moderators made a word filter that replaced the word Wapanese with weeaboo, which was taken from a Perry Bible Fellowship strip. In the original comic, the word didn't really have any meaning other than it was something that was undesirable and deserving of punishment. The word filter kept around and the word just kind of stuck with users. In a ways, it's almost like a weird minced oath of Wapanese. And since 4chan is popular and many frequent its boards, the word spread across the internet, and now we have the word weeaboo today. Why this word? Probably due to the slight proximity of it and Wapanese, both being W-starting trisyllabic words that share the same stress, but they're distinct enough that you couldn't misconstrue one for the other. So it wasn't irrelevant and unrelated, it was just an odd minced oath to replace a word that got used too much. Please sit back down.
So unfortunately, I feel like I think I can say that I know that the term weeaboo is now just a slang term that has been transformed into such an abusive definition and such a very ignorant kind of how should I put it? It's just really ignorant to just throw it out there without even knowing the context anymore.
But it's always been a pejorative term. It's never meant anything nice. It's always been used as a word to make fun of anime fans. Whether it's the rabid obsessive Japan is great, everything else is terrible desu ones, or the ones that just happen to like a few animes and mangas. It came from 4chan after all. Did you honestly expect anything good out of them?
And this is oh, sorry, what?
No, I was just gonna say, it's like what I had mentioned earlier. It's basically the autism term for anyone who likes Japan. Mm-hmm. It's just that insensitive, that unfeeling, that unthinking.
Oh my god, no. Holy shit, no. I want to say my point on this for right now because let me explain, Gaijin, why it's not like using autism as an insult. Here's the deal. Autism is a neurodevelopment disorder that people cannot help having. It's a real issue that people are born with having and affects a lot of people. You cannot be born a weeaboo. And while yes, it is childish to be making fun of people for what they like, it is in no way on the same part as using autism as an insult. It isn't the same. One is something that you cannot help having, and the other is just about something that you like. Honestly, I'm cringing from the fact that you would even par the two like that.
So it's like, if someone calls you, let's just close it with this. If someone calls you a weeaboo, pity them. Pity them, for they are too stupid to ever understand what it means to know something and love something beyond their backyard.
Right.
Or maybe they're just joking or saying it because they know it gets under your skin. Which, once again, that obviously worked here. This video is the corpus delicti.
Right, because it doesn't mean anything anymore. It never did mean anything, and, you know, it's pointless now.
And yet, here we all are. And speaking of, I'm going to skip showing you the ending because I have nothing to say, so it'd be pointless to keep it in here. So at 19 minutes and 25 seconds, we finished the video, and just, you know, I'm sure Gaijin isn't the worst person out there. Good that he had his time in Japan, fell in love with the culture and respects it. But I think what bothered me the most about the entire video, aside from the fucking autism example, was throughout the entirety of this video, Gaijin's main point was that he wasn't a weeaboo because he earned the right to not be called it. But yet, throughout the video, he's doing things that are pretty stereotypical of weeaboos. I felt his use of Japanese in the video, his story about being accepted, his knowledge of obscure anime, and so on, was all bragging in a sense. But then on the other hand, he doesn't care and the haters' arguments are invalid. Look, Gaijin, you can either boast about your aptitude or you cannot care about being called a weeaboo, because it's obvious that you're only boasting as a reaction. So you either do care or you don't. Pick one. You can't be doing both. And as for Aki, let me say I did go to her channel and watched a bit, and honestly I can say she's a pretty nice person. If I was way more into anime or at least wanted to get invested, I'd probably give her channel a watch. But I felt that she was being way too modest in the video in order to just harmonize with Gaijin's opinion. And the repetition, oh my god. I can't tell if you're just repeating that because you're trying to inculcate everyone into that idea, or just didn't have much to say on that topic. In the end, this video didn't help matters and it only left it with thinking that you were indeed a weeaboo. And also a bit of a gross person. I thought I'd never do a commentary on this guy, but with all the ridiculous stunts he's pulled off and all the ridiculous things he said, I think I need to. Honestly, this is the first person on YouTube to ever make me legitimately disappointed and legitimately hate him. Not hate him himself, but what he says and what he does. I'm of course talking about Onision. Onision, or Greg, is a YouTube partner who works on a channel of random skits and songs, and then also another channel called Onision Speaks, where he discusses some of his ideology. But what is wrong with Onision? What's right with Onision? His views on a lot of issues are super warped. According to Onision, if you're religious, you're crazy and you like to shove it down other people's throats, and if you like to eat meat, then you're a cannibal. Oh, and by the way, eating meat is the equivalent of eating baby penises and shit. I'm not joking. That is a statement he actually said in a video. And then there's the whole Shiloh incident where she has sepsis, but it's pretty obvious that she's faking. But I really don't want to get into that. This video I'm going to be reviewing is basically how Onision doesn't like the fact that people don't like his humor. Oh no! Because killing yourself, shooting your brains out, ejaculating paint on the wall, and hitting a pregnant lady in the stomach when she was actually constipated is funny. In this video, Onision whines how it's hypocritical to like South Park and Family Guy jokes, but then find his video offensive. For this video, I will use Bender from Futurama. And if you don't like it, then you can buy his shiny metal ass.
Got a question for you guys. Do you support South Park? Do you support Family Guy?
South Park I'm a fan of because its jokes have a point and meaning behind them. Family Guy, well, I was a fan of its earlier stuff. To be honest, the show has really been disappointing lately.
Family Guy and South Park have a numerous amount of offensive jokes, considered to be offensive. But many of my viewers still support them despite these offensive jokes. Many of my viewers even laugh at these offensive jokes. Clap like idiot monkeys.
Only 20 seconds in and already Onision has shown his god complex. Yay. Because apparently you're an idiot monkey if you like Family Guy and South Park, but not his videos. How arrogant is that statement? Plus, what if there are people that don't like your videos that don't like either of the shows that you mentioned? That's a possibility.
As the show plays on. And then they have, for some reason, the motivation to come to my channel and see me tell pretty much the same joke, just in a different way. And they say I'm a horrible human being.
Oh my god! People have opinions that are bad about Onision! Someone call the president!
I tell a joke about butt raping a guy. I'm awful. Family Guy tells a joke about raping a woman. They're amazing.
Depends on how the joke was said and the references it draws. If Family Guy just blatantly rapes someone like you did, then no, I don't find that funny. Let's show an example of a rape joke used in Family Guy. Family Guy made a joke about how Aquaman is a fairly useless superhero. In the scene, a woman is getting raped on the beach as she tries to scream for help. Aquaman pops up in the distance and tells the guy to stop. But of course, this really doesn't do anything. It even says the rapist is lucky he isn't doing it in the ocean. The joke is funny because it's not a joke about rape, but about Aquaman being useless outside a body of water. You, on the other hand, are doing a joke about rape for the sake of rape. That's not funny. It is offensive. And again, there are some that maybe don't find Family Guy's jokes funny anyways. So what about them? Are they idiot monkeys too?
I tell a joke about hitting a woman who's constipated in the belly with a baseball bat, at the time assumed to be a baby, but in fact, no, just constipation. And I'm an awful human being.
Yeah, I watched the video in question. Onision, that wasn't funny at all. That was horrible. And for any Onision fans that are about to leave a comment whining about my opinion, just remember, that's exactly it. My opinion. And my opinion was, it's not funny. Considering the fact that a lot of it just does not make sense. Like the fact that she's been pregnant for over a month and yet she already has signs of showing. Yeah, signs of showing pregnancy don't start until at least 2 to 3 months in the second trimester. Also the fact that it takes 9 months before the baby is ready. Or usually around 9 months. There are premature births. So in summation, no, I do not think that beating a pregnant woman in the stomach and then shooting her to cause an abortion is funny. That's just horrible.
Family Guy or South Park tells a joke about abortion, and they're amazing.
I'm sorry, but where in the history of Family Guy have they ever made an abortion joke where they shot a pregnant woman in the stomach? Let's use South Park's joke about abortion. South Park had an episode where abortion played a big role called Kenny Dies. But it wasn't a joke about abortion, but the recent banning of stem cell research from aborted fetuses. Then again, I didn't really find the episode to be funny. I did find it sad, though, the fact of Kenny actually dying, and Eric Cartman decides to try and save him by lifting the ban on stem cells, which can help Kenny fight his terminal muscle disease. The episode centered more around saving Kenny, Stan's unwillingness to accept Kenny might die, and Cartman's attempt to make money off of stem cell research and then lifting the ban to save Kenny. The episode's main theme was about stem cell research and losing a friend, and abortion played part of it out of connection. But nowhere in the episode was there shooting a pregnant woman in the stomach.
Case in point, you guys need to get your stories straight and figure out what your morals really are.
Funny coming from a guy who equates meat eating with cannibalism, and that I can't like Family Guy and or South Park without liking you. Just remember, guys, Onision's videos are all filmed in hypocrisy vision!
Because right now, I'm being lynched for no reason.
You're being lynched? Did you seriously just say that? Oh my god. Lynch. Verb. To execute without proper legal trial, especially by hanging, is used to punish an alleged transgressor or to intimidate, control, or otherwise manipulate a population of people. The term is usually used for the racial executions carried out against African Americans starting after the Civil War and continuing until the 1950s. I'm sorry, but I didn't see anywhere in there a definition of being butthurt because people don't like your videos. You are not being lynched, Onision. You're being criticized for your videos and being called out on your bullshit Onision Speak videos. And for those who want to whine that I'm hating on his Speak videos, I'll remind you of this right now. Eating meat is being a cannibal, according to Onision.
Because people can't get a joke unless it's in a cartoon because their brains are too slow to register the fact that it is a joke due to the lack in animation.
And who died and made you in control of what is a joke and what isn't? Being on a cartoon makes no difference at all for a joke. It doesn't. You're just diffusing blame from yourself to other people and other things. You need to accept the fact that not everyone is going to agree with what you think is funny and what isn't. Some anime fans think Bobo 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 Bo is the worst anime ever, but I think it's one of the best. Do I care what they think? No. Your problem is that you care what people say about you. And what do? You make these butthurt videos on how people don't like you. And also your Haters United skit where you stereotype people who don't like you as these unintelligent ignoramuses that throw pointless ad hominem statements. Let's also not forget that you're a hypocrite because it's not okay to hate you and say that you're not funny, but it's completely okay to call people who eat meat cannibals and people who are religious crazy. Again, Onision's videos are filmed in hypocrisy vision.
This is ridiculous.
The only thing that's ridiculous is you, Onision.
And I'm being attacked for no goddamn good reason.
I thought you said you were being attacked because of your videos. Why do you have partnership again?
Goodbye.
And at 1 minute and 39 seconds, we finish the video. In summation, Onision, I honestly don't think you deserve partnership because I just don't think you're responsible enough with it. You have such a warped view on life where your opinion matters more than everyone else's. Now, I'm not saying Onision doesn't have talent. He has talent, but if talent was all that was needed to become a YouTube partner, then why the hell is VK Goes Wild not a YouTube partner? In response to this video about your haters, Onision, I have 3 words for you. Deal with it. And for any Onision fans who somehow found my video to be trolling or hating or ragging on Onision, go ahead, leave your comments. In fact, throw in a couple of insults and cuss words in there just to show how wrong I am. Even add an ad hominem and how I'm jealous of him. Go ahead, because it will only prove to me how brainwashed Onision has made you all. Just remember, I don't think you're an idiot monkey, and I probably never will. I think you're a human being whose opinion differs from mine, and if you can leave an intelligent, respectable disagreement, then that's fine. I'll accept it.
Hello YouTubers, this is Joshua8428 speaking, and today I'm going to be doing something special.
I want to point out that on his account he says that he's 18. No offense, Joshua, if you're watching this, but you certainly don't sound like that you're 18.
That I have never done before. I'm going to be reviewing a video game. I know what you're thinking.
I'm thinking that after seeing your myriad of bad commentary videos and responses to troll and criticism, that you're digging yourself a bigger hole. But maybe this will be good. For his sake, I hope.
Well, since you do love video games, this is one of many things that we've never seen you do before. Well, at least it's a lot more different from your commentaries. Yeah, true.
Let's just hope for his sake that this is going to be something different from his normal commentaries. Because let's just say his normal commentaries are kinda lacking.
Yeah. Anyways, it's not going to be just any game. It's going to be on the masterpiece that was made by Nintendo. It celebrates Zelda's 25th anniversary.
Oh god, he can't be doing a review on what I think he's going to be reviewing. No, it's still way too brand new. He's not really going to do a review on this. Oh god, please don't tell me he's doing a review on this.
If you already guessed, that's right. I'm going to be reviewing none other than The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword.
Can't have nice things in commentaries either. The Zelda fan of me is raging right now. But I understand this has become a very popular game, and I'll agree, Skyward Sword is an amazing game. But I feel like he bit off a bit more than he can chew with choosing this. Well, let's just see how well he handles himself with reviewing Skyward Sword.
I don't have any dramatic music and all that.
Nope. Instead, you have a lot of gaps of silence and stuttering. You'll see what I mean in a few minutes into the video.
And this is my first review on a video game. Okay, here's how I feel about this. The game is actually great. In fact,
Here's the thing, Joshua. If you're going to make a review like this, you need to learn to edit your videos. I'm sure you've heard this before time and time again, but for the umpteenth time, edit. Or at least use a script.
In fact, I'm not going to give too much away, but you should start off from... no spoilers, sorry. Okay, like I said, it's my first review, so I'm just going to do this without editing this.
Question, when have you ever truly edited any of your videos? That's kind of what's going to kill you, dude. I mean, you've gotten a lot of complaints and criticism about not editing your videos before. Also, why am I hearing you clear your voice in this video? I understand sometimes you need to clear your voice, but please can't you at least just edit that out? We don't want to hear that.
Alright, well, I will agree with IGN and many other people who agree with this, that this is a masterpiece of all time. I will definitely believe that. And how you can use the Wii Remote Motion Plus as the sword and use it in various directions, so that way you can cut through enemies' defenses.
Great use of English right there, Joshua. What a clear, concise sentence. That was a pretty shaky explanation of the use of the Motion Plus controller. Plus, this isn't the first time in Zelda history that they've done this, or remotely close to this. The Wii version of Twilight Princess also utilized the ability of controlling the sword with swinging the Wiimote. Although it's not as in-depth as in Skyward Sword, I know that Joshua knows about the Wii version of Twilight Princess, so he didn't really do a good job explaining the differences between the two.
In a sort of way. And not only that, but the game is actually is a little bit much tougher than any other Zelda game. They actually pumped up the level on this.
Care to explain how the difficulty has been raised, young Joshua?
Also, there are many things that you can do around the skies. In fact, once you are able to access a certain point, you might be able to do something once in a while.
How revolutionary! You can do things once in a while when you've gotten to certain points. Screw playing with rocks. This is amazing. Again, you need to elaborate, Joshua. Elaborate.
In fact, I'm listening to the CD of the Legend of Zelda 25th anniversary, anniversary music disc to be exact. And it's actually amazing.
Okay, but how does that have anything to do with your previous statement? When you say, in fact, the point you're bringing up now relates to the point that you were bringing up before. But really, talking about the CD, as great as it is, doesn't really prove or bring anything to your statement before.
And by listening to this, I could tell that Nintendo did an excellent job on the game, or whoever really made the game. And I don't know who really made it.
Seriously? You don't know who made Skyward Sword? You're questioning if Nintendo made it?
But it was made by Nintendo, and that's who we know. So I'm pretty sure that they might have made the game and published it.
So apparently Joshua doesn't know if Skyward Sword was made and licensed by Nintendo. You know, that's a hard question. In fact, right now I have my friend Blue Turtle over. Say hi, Blue Turtle. And she's heard a little bit about this. So what do you think? Was Skyward Sword made by Nintendo?
It's hard to say.
Well, here, I have the game right here, because I was playing it earlier, so let's look. Legend of Zelda Skyward... Oh, hey, look, at the bottom corner it says Nintendo. That's weird. I think that's just only one part of it. Let's look at the back. The Birth of a Legend, Zelda... Oh, look! It's the official Nintendo seal. That's like on all Nintendo games.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still, you know, kind of iffy on this. Blue Turtle knows more about this, so here, why don't you tell us? You do your research. She's really good at figuring out. What do you think?
Well, on the inside, it's very interesting. You'll see that there's an ad for the Nintendo Club.
Whoa!
Isn't that, you know, Nintendo?
Nintendo is Nintendo. Strange.
So, my conclusion? Best Xbox 360 game ever.
Why were we both wearing beanies? I think me and Blue Turtle are high off Harvest Moon. Remember, kids, RPGs are dangerous. Sure, it starts out with you just doing a little hit of farming and ammo parade, but then the next day you're going to be strung out on some Tales of Vesperia. But seriously, Joshua, that was kind of a big mistake you made there. Not having a certainty on who made this game obviously shows on how competent of a video game reviewer you are. If you're going to do a video game review on Skyward Sword, you should know this stuff. And even if you didn't, you're on the internet. You can look this stuff up. I mean, I looked it up. It only took me 5 seconds. Why didn't you do this beforehand?
Anyways. Well, from this, you actually can do many various things all over the skies and even below the surface.
Joshua, why do you intend to keep all these stutters in? For a game review, we want to see a concise, ordered review with someone who can enunciate properly without awkward stutters or gaps of silence. Would you want to see someone from IGN or Game Informer do a review with all this? No. No one would.
Well, I mean, on the surface to be exact. There are many difficult bosses and enemies that you will encounter along the way, including many difficult obstacle courses, which of course you're going to have to master, and many puzzles that you need to solve. In fact, it's pretty amazing.
And yet he doesn't explain why. Seriously, Joshua, can you explain on some of this stuff? Like some of the obstacles you have to go through, or some of the enemies you encounter, or some of the bosses you face? All your statements about Skyward Sword have been very vague. We're already 4 minutes in, and I haven't even heard you talk about the plot, characters, areas, items, except for the sword, which you did a really half-assed job on.
In fact, there's also stuff that you collect, like treasure, insects, and some other stuff.
okay, there's some explanation, but not enough. In almost any Zelda game, you collect treasure. You missed a big point, too, of that in Skyward Sword, a lot of the collectibles you can get can be used to upgrade items, kind of like an RPG. And also, you collected bugs in Twilight Princess, so there again, you're not really differentiating between the two.
There's also many and there's a little bit of action involved, a little bit of combat.
Holy crow! I never would have expected Skyward Sword to have action in it. Herpity derp, Joshua. It's an action-adventure game. Of course it's gonna have action in it.
Not too much, but there's also ways you can also get from them. By the way, if you're planning on getting the bow and arrow soon, it's gonna have to be sooner because it's gonna take some time to do so.
Reasonable answer, considering that you get the bow in the 5th dungeon. Joshua, have you honestly played this game at all? I've read some of the comments below your video, and many people claim that you haven't beaten the game yet, which is plausible since you wouldn't be making such mistakes like this. Apparently there's a rumor going around that you claim to have beaten the game in a half hour. If there's 100 minutes of cutscenes alone, there's no way you beat the game in a half hour. It took me 6 hours just to get to the beginning of Skyview Temple, which is the first one, by the way.
If you know what I mean. Anyways, the story is great. In fact, it explains what really was going on in the game and what your goal was supposed to be. Of course, save Zelda, which of course has been happening in every Zelda game. Well, not in every Zelda game. Most of the time, that Link just does things on his own, per se. And he also saves other people from dismay.
You say dismay weird. You're putting some kind of weird emphasis on it. Then again, this is coming from the kid who says the word blasphemy as blasphemy. Also, I love your very bland description of the plot. Details? Who needs that?
But saving things is just the thing that Link does the best.
Oh yeah, new dance club mix. I whip my hair back and forth. 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 Just whip it. I don't even care how dumb that was. That was great. But seriously, Joshua, you need to look back on your video. Your stuttering is really bad. I'm not saying this to be insulting, but seriously, coherence, use it. Editing, use it.
And you also have yourself some great other characters aside from Zelda and Link. In this game, Zelda also has a father, but he's not exactly a king. He's more like a chief in most terms. And also, there are also other characters that, aside from Link's father, that.
Whoa, Link's father? I think you mean Zelda's father. And if you mean Link's father, then Joshua, you just revealed a spoiler of the game. Good job, you just totally contradicted what you said you wouldn't do. Also, I love that we're about like 6 minutes into your video, and you've only described 3 characters, Link, Zelda, and Zelda's father, which is named Headmaster Gaypora. Let's totally forget about any other important characters like Girahim, or Groose, or even Fi. You're missing so many important things about this game. I understand you don't want to reveal spoilers, but most of these things you either learn within the few minutes of the game, or we've already seen from trailers. Why can't you just disclose them?
Actually, some of them play an important role, and some of them are just like people that you just talk to. And some characters are like just making business, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't. Almost every other Zelda game has this. And it's not just Zelda, but other game series as well. Why is this so principal to the game? Does it set Skyward Sword apart from the other games? Because it doesn't.
And, well, from all what I can gather, it's actually great. In fact, we also have ourselves the main protagonist, Link, and some supporting characters.
Like in every other Zelda game. Shocking! I have a feeling he doesn't know anything about this game. Or he's probably still looking for his loft wing around Skyloft. Which, if you don't know, that's in the very beginning of the game.
We also got the main antagonist, which of course I can't really say the name very properly.
No offense, but you can't say a lot of things properly. It's not a hard name. Girahim. And even if it was really that hard for you, you should have looked it up beforehand so that way you'd be able to say it. Also, proof that you still haven't beaten the game. Not to spoil anything, but Girahim isn't the only one you need to be looking out for in the game.
So you should know. So you're gonna have to tell someone else who may want to spoil this, which of course I'm not going to spoil too much of it.
I really wouldn't worry about spoiling the game since you haven't even really told us anything about it. Seriously, Joshua, we're almost to about 7 minutes into your video, and in about half the time, I could explain about 500% more than you have so far.
But it's actually interesting.
Was all that lip smacking necessary? And you really want to be taken seriously in this video game review? Edit!
There are also some special moves that Link could do, which of course was similar to Twilight Princess, like the Death Blow per se, and also you can also do a spin attack vertically, which is actually amazing what Nintendo is doing right there.
Finally, some detail! Thank you, Joshua. That's what we've been wanting to hear. The case you're making, followed by a reasonable and good example. Provided it was only one and it wasn't all that good, I'll give it to you.
In fact,
And now you've lost that merit. Come on, Joshua, what was that? You wasted 22 seconds of just silent smacking lips and what sounded like you were opening a water bottle. I assume you were taking a drink. If you were, that's fine, but edit that out! If you cut out all your weird gaps of silence and stammering, you could probably shorten this video to under 6 minutes.
it's also very promising because, well, what's more than finding monsters, solving puzzles, and all that stuff? But you can actually also have fun with the game also. Well, of course, that's what's the point of video games. But but hear me out on this.
Yes, hear him out over stammering, gaps of silence, and his generalized explanations. Joshua, a second grade essay has more explanation than this whole video does. How can I hear you out when you haven't given enough sufficient detail? If this was a school report and you had to turn this into the teacher, she'd probably give you a D or an F because you failed to do one thing. Elaborate! You need to learn how to elaborate. If you're 18, then I'm pretty sure you've written a lot of essays, such as I have. What's the most important thing about explaining your thesis? Elaborating!
When I mean by fun, I mean there are a lot of things you can do. Of course, there might have been in every Zelda game, but just don't quote me on that. I'm just bringing this up because I want to.
Don't worry about getting quoted, Joshua. Worry more about all the criticism you're gonna get, because you're gonna get a lot. If this is only your first video game review, I don't want to see the rest. And also, bringing up something just because you want to, if it doesn't help prove what you're trying to say, then don't bring it up. It would be like if I just randomly said, Parades by Efterklang is one of the best albums ever. And yes, you can quote me on that.
And from all of this, I will safely say, IGN actually gave this a very good score for this.
Very good score for this? Joshua, this is an English grammar book. Use it to properly construct your sentences. Not to be mean, but I know people who learned English as a second or even third language and can speak it better than you.
And if any of you agree with me, then by all means, comment. Yeah.
But don't put a comment if you don't agree with me because I don't like criticism. And this video is apparent that I haven't been taking the criticism of properly scripting my videos and editing them to make them sound and look more appealing.
However, there is one thing I would have to say about the game, but I really don't like very much.
Okay, Akani has with the game. That's good. That's fine. This time he might go in depth about something and give us a reasonable excuse. I look forward to hearing about this.
I mean, it's not too much of a big deal, but at the same time, it's just my opinion.
As long as you back it up with a reasonable explanation, I think we'll be okay. Like, for instance, I do have some gripes about Skyward Sword. Sometimes when throwing or rolling bombs, the game doesn't react very well for some reason. I just end up keep on holding it even though I'm trying to roll it, and it just blows up in my face. Or steering in the air when you're skydiving, it's a bit of a hassle because pointing to the left just a little bit makes you go really far over to the left, and sometimes hard to steer back.
It's the animation. I mean, it's not as good as Twilight Princess because, if you recall, but Twilight Princess actually had much better animations than Skyward Sword did. I mean, it may not be the best animation, but they could have at least tweaked out things a little bit like they did in Twilight Princess.
Why is it that whenever a new Zelda game comes out, people have to bitch and whine about the graphics? Especially Skyward Sword. I mean, that was like the top complaint I remember hearing about when we finally got images of Skyward Sword. I remember going to Comic-Con and people being like, yeah, I don't like how it looks. The Wind Waker fans and the Twilight Princess fans whined that the game's graphics weren't going to be as good as their favorite games, and that it wasn't going to be as eye-appealing, and that's going to make the game bad. The art style for Skyward Sword is based off on the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. They're from the older games. That's like saying you don't like how young Link looked in Majora's Mask, but you liked how he looked in Ocarina of Time. I've never seen any other fanbase where people gripe this much about the animation. Not in Mario, not in Star Fox, not in Tasmanian Tiger, not in Sly Cooper, not in Earthbound. Oh, I better not hear it in Earthbound. I'm sorry, Joshua, but Knack the Weasel is disappointed. Nintendo even stated that Skyward Sword was going to be based off everyone's favorites, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess's art styles, because everyone liked them. And you may just say that I'm just being an irrationally acting Icelander, but I find graphics whining to be the most pointless thing ever about a game. Unless it's seriously detrimental to the game, then I don't see a point. Also, I'd like to add that if you're really going to discuss about the graphics, maybe you could actually pull up some pictures to show us how bad the graphics are, but instead the entire almost 10-minute video, all you do is just show a picture of your crappy recolor.
Then again, this is Zelda for crying out loud. How am I supposed to complain about the graphics when the gameplay is actually much more important?
Okay, I guess he redeemed himself there a little bit.
Well, that's pretty much all I have to say right there. I hope you enjoyed listening to this review, and I know it was pretty short and may not have been the best.
Because apparently an almost 10-minute video with a lot of gases, silence, stuttering, and smacking lips is short. Well, at least he was half right. This really wasn't his best. In fact, I'd almost consider it to be worse than some of his other commentaries. I mean, overall, for a game review, this was very, very subpar.
But this is my first time, so don't go too harsh on me, alright?
But because this is your first time, you should have worked harder to make a good impression on us. Imagine it's like the first day of a new school. You want to really show people how capable you are at what you do, whether it be the students, the teachers, etc. Screwing up on that first day means you're just going to have to work your way back up to the top. So now that's what you have to do, Joshua. No offense, but you really botched this first impression. I don't see your other video games review being any better if this is how you're going to be doing your reviews.
But you can't give me constructive criticism on my next review if I have a plan on doing one.
So we can't give constructive criticism on this video for this video, but we can on the next one if you're going to make it. Something tells me that you won't. And if you do, you're probably going to negate with a statement by saying, no harsh criticism in the comments, please. When any criticism you get, you label harsh. Joshua, I'm telling you this as a nice person. I don't want you to be made fun of and looked down upon by other people any more than you do. But you're making it too easy. You don't respond to criticism at all, and you counter-bully anyone who's bullied you. What you need to start doing is start taking some people's advice, or at least acknowledging them. But instead, you get all butthurt when people call you out for your faults that can be easily fixed.
Alrighty, now to wrap things up. Without further ado, this is Joshua E428, signing off.